Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's April 4th, 2024. We are in the Old Testament book of Esther, and we're going to read chapter 7 today. Haman's grand plan. He's ready to spring it. Unfortunately for Haman, it doesn't go the way he planned. Classic example of God using evil for his own will. And Haman's plan was to hang Mordecai on the highest yardarm that he could build, and going to turn out that that's where Haman ends up. They go to the second feast. Haman's riding high. King asks Esther, okay, what can you do? And Esther lays out the plot, saying, hey, they're going to kill my people. So she finally reveals that she's a Jewess. And the king says, what? Who's going to kill my king? And she says, well, Haman. That's the guy who planned it. And the king is so upset he walks out of the room to compose himself. And we said before that we see parallels between the story of Jacob and Esther, just like Jacob being, at the couch with Potiphar, and she's claiming she's raped, and he runs out. Well, we get a similar story here as the king walks back in. Haman at that moment is pleading with Esther, and it looks like he's attacking her on her bed. So the king says, you know what, that's it, boom. Haman, we're going to punish you as severely as we can. Gosh, what can we do? And someone says, hey, you know what? He's got a big giant yardarm in his backyard. King says, great, hang him in that. So Haman meets his end. So let's go ahead and we're going to read Esther chapter 7. So the king and Haman went to dine with Queen Esther, and on the second day at the banquet of wine, the king again said to Esther, what is your petition, Queen Esther? It shall be granted you, and what is your request? Up to half the kingdom it shall be done. Then Queen Esther answered and said, if I have found favor in your sight, O king, and if it pleases the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request. For we have been sold, my people and I, to be destroyed, to be killed, and to be annihilated. Had we been sold as male and female slaves, I would have held my tongue, although the enemy could never compensate for the king's loss. So King Ahasuerus answered and said to Queen Esther, who is he, and where is he who would dare presume in his heart to do such a thing? And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. So Haman was terrified before the king and the queen. Then the king arose in his wrath from the banquet of wine and went into the palace garden. But Haman stood before Queen Esther, pleading for his life, for he saw that evil was determined against him by the king. When the king returned from the palace garden to the place of the banquet of wine, Haman had fallen across the couch where Esther was. Then the king said, will he also assault the queen while I am in the house? As the word left the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. Now Harbonal, one of the eunuchs, said to the king, look, the gallows, 50 cubits high, which Haman made for Mordecai, who spoke good on the king's behalf, is standing at the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him on it. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. And the king's wrath subsided. May God bless the reading of his word. May God bless you. Bye.